We thank Almighty Allah for bringing each and every one of us here safely. We will start with opening prayers. So please join me in silent prayers. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Amen. The next item on the agenda is a recitation from the Holy Quran, and that is going to be anchored by Hafiz Abdul Majid Sab. Bismillah.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فاستجاب لهم ربهم أني لا أضيع عمل عامل منكم من ذكر أو أنثى بعضكم من بعض فالذين هاجروا وأخرجوا من ديارهم وأوذوا في سبيلي وقاتلوا وقتلوا لأكفرن عنهم سيئاتهم ولأدخلنهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار ثوابا من عند الله والله عنده حسن الثواب. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Jazakallah khairan. The next item on the agenda is Amir's opening remark. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. We give glory to Almighty Allah for bringing each and everyone to this 2019 Tabligh seminar, which kickstarts the 2019 annual Jalsa Salana of Nigeria. I pray that Almighty Allah bless this event. The speech will not be so much long, other than to remind all of us that His Holiness Hazrat Khalifatul Masir the Fifth, Ayadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz, has given Nigeria a target of bayat in writing of a minimum of 100,000 converts per annum among the three major assignments which he has given us. So we are here for a very serious business. That 100,000 in writing minimum, we said on our own, because of the massive population of Nigeria, because of non-resistance, if we do the Tabligh very well, we can raise the bar to 500,000. Now, if we end up on 150, that will be good. It's always very good to raise a target higher than what you are required to do. That is when you can actually meet your target. They said those who succeed, they succeed because they do not struggle not to fail. There is a difference between you wanting to succeed and a struggle not to fail. If you are reading not to fail an exam, you are likely going to fail the exam. But if you are working to really understand the subject very well, you will pass the subject. The thing is, your mark will not be that high, but you will pass it and you will cross the boundary. So we are here to actually deliberate on how to deliver on this. And we will review what we've been doing at least for the past 1 year, since last year's Tabligh seminar, and then what we will do in the next 6 months, because 6 months will be ending by June when the curtain is going to be drawn. So how many people have you found? So I would allow the Tabligh team to do a lot of work. My own work is just to let you know that we have a very big task, we have a very big responsibility, and it is all of us. The details, I will leave that to the Tabligh team. Tabligh team is being led by the Mubalik in charge, and that is the missionary in charge, and with him is the Naib Amir, Tabligh, and Tajnid. You can see how important it is, because it is #1 assignment given to us as a country. I don't know what is given to other countries, but for Nigeria, of the 3 things that Uzur asked us to do, Tabligh is #1, Wasiyat is #2, and financial autonomy of Nigeria is #3. So we are here for #1. So I would want to pause here. I will allow the Mubalik in charge to take it up from here and tell us how we are going to achieve that feat that His Holiness has given to us. May Almighty Allah bless our program, and may He enable us to be able to work to the satisfaction of His Holiness and to the satisfaction of Almighty Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Yes, I will call on the missionary in charge now to tell us on how to engage the Islamic scholars without confrontation for us to be able to win bayats.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Amma ba'du, fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِّمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. So, Alhamdulillah, today we are having our Tabligh seminar to understand that how we can improve on Tabligh activities. How is it possible for everybody to become Da'i ilallah? This is a major task for each and everybody of us who are now in attendance of this Tabligh seminar. Normally, such seminars are arranged with this aim and objective, that the participant, they fill the forms for such seminar and they become active member of that program which we have already decided to discuss in the program. Now I will take you some 30 years back when Hazrat Khalifatul Masih or Rabi Rahmahullah Ta'ala started this scheme of Dawat ilallah, which is Tabligh. And that is the time when he asked every member to become Da'i ilallah, caller unto Allah. Who can teach us better than Holy Prophet Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah? He was the best caller unto Allah the Almighty. And he showed his own personal example to us how you can attract people towards Allah the Almighty. I'll give some few examples from his life. Then I will ask each and everybody here to make a pledge today, whichever capacity you are in, whether you are doctor, whether you are teacher, whether you are muballigh or not muballigh, you have to make this pledge with Allah the Almighty that from today onward you are going to be muballigh of this Jama'at. In your work, in your duties towards Tabligh. And without that, it is very much impossible to get the target which is given to us. Our beloved Prophet, Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah Sallam, he used to go for prayer. Long days, week or more than week, out of his home, praying to Allah the Almighty, asking Him His pleasure, His love. And that was not time that he was appointed as a prophet. This is the first lesson for all of us, that we start learning this worship of Allah. We are Ahmadis from many years. We have grown in the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jama'at, following Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But the worship has not reached that extent. This is a number one challenge we have, that we must reach there. After getting to that love of Allah the Almighty, that blessed status in the area he was staying, he was called Sadiq and Amin, honest and loyal, truthful. When he asked people that if I tell you that someone is going to attack you behind this mountain, they were enemies, but they said you are always truthful.
Jazakumullah khairan jaza. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We thank the missionary in charge for giving us the roadmap towards the delivery of what Uzur has asked us to do, and that is winning converts. As I said, we will all talk. Most people will talk because we have time. So it's just a very brief highlights that we are doing at this side. I will call on respected Dr. Said Timei to please also give us a tip, on how to engage the Islamic scholars without confrontation. Especially, I know in cities like Ilaro, there have been a lot of talk to the people. Today, they will believe. When the mullahs talk to them, again they go back. So I will call on Dr. Timei Saab to please come and deliver his talk.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Let me stand on the already established protocols. I've been asked to speak for just 10 minutes. I have to say from the outset that there is no hard and fast rule to communicating with Muslim scholars, because Muslim scholars vary from country to country, from community to community. In Nigeria, there is particularly a kind of cosmopolitan complexity associated with Muslim scholars. Because when you're talking about Muslim scholars, you're talking about people who are deeply rooted in particular epistemological traditions, people who see themselves as authorities, people who expect to be treated with respect and dignity. So you do not go to them with a particular mindset. And what makes it more complex is the fact that the way you address a scholar in the north is different from the way you address a scholar in the south, particularly in southwest. So because when you're talking about Islam in Nigeria, you're talking about basically the southwest and the entire north. That's where you have Muslim scholars of varying degrees. So you want to talk to them, you want to avoid conflict, you want to avoid confrontation. Then you need to understand them. You must first know them. I'm not talking about establishing a personal relationship directly, but you must understand the tradition they believe in. I remember, okay, Mawvi Abdulazim is not here. I remember very well some years back when he just came. He asked me, what are those traditions scholars in Nigeria respect? Because you don't quote Kanzul Umar, Daru Kutni, Bayhaqi for a Nigerian scholar. You just dismiss it, unless it is the Sihah Usita. Even among the Sihah Usita, they will prefer you talk about Bukhari and Muslim, and occasionally maybe Ibn Majah. Then because of the increase in the number of Salafis, they will tolerate Musnad Ahmad bin Hanbal. But basically, Nigerian scholars will not accord any value to whatever you say when you quote Kanzul Ummal, because they have never seen it. It is not sold in the Nigerian market. Nobody reads it here. You only encounter it when you read books. And it's popular in the Far Eastern literatures. So they do not accept such. And if you go to them thinking you have powerful evidence from those materials, they just disregard it. And secondly, we have a particular tradition, particularly those of us in Southwest. We have some derogative languages we use when you talk about these people. Like we met our fathers calling them Baruku, unlettered people, calling them several names. You don't expect to communicate with me, and you refer to me in such negative terms. We won't respect you. And apart from that, you discover that even within their own enclave, there are multiple epistemological orientations, and particularly in the area of interpretation. You have the tariqas, the Sufi groups that see themselves as custodians of divine light. You have the Salafis who are ready to who condemn everybody except those who fall within their own, even within their ranks and files. Now, they are beginning to say this one is not a true Salafi, that's not a true Salafi. So you need to understand this kind of complexity. So when you want to talk to them, one, you should be armed with a sound knowledge of the materials they believe in. And these materials are also dear to us. Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, don't take them into those things they will never believe. The only thing that will make them accept that is if you have already established the basis for that thing from the traditions that are familiar to them. Then you go to that, they know, okay, it is just supporting something that is already established in the traditions we understand. Then, Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam has said so many beautiful things about some of the great Sufis. Even when he disagreed with the concept of Wahdatul Wujud, that is what is existential monism of Ibn Arabi, he referred to it with respect. He spoke, in beautiful terms about Abdul Qadir Jilani. We don't often refer to such things. It has actually worked for me because many a time when I tell them this is what Hazrat Masih Maud said about Abdul Qadir Jilani, the Qadiriyas will be very happy. They will now listen. And then, most of us don't often go armed with direct quotations from the works of Hazrat Masih Maud, particularly in Arabic, because this is Nigeria. Even if you don't know anything about Islam, if you speak Arabic, people will believe this is a scholar, even if you know next to nothing. I know professors of Arabic studies whose knowledge of Islam is very, very poor. But people respect them as scholars of Islam because they speak the language of the Quran. And I have often told people, it is not until you can communicate in Arabic. All you need the Arabic knowledge for is the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And we are lucky in the Jama'at, for example, the 5-volume commentary and this book, a dictionary of the Quran, will go a long way if you are discussing just a verse. As a Muslim, Ma'ud radiallahu anhu has already given you a kind of linguistic analysis of this thing. So you can speak with a certain level of authority. And the scholars are very smart. They will not speak Arabic with you when they see you going to the roots, particularly as explained in the Tafsir Kabir. But we tend to be very lazy. We don't painstakingly discuss those words and their various connotations one by one, as a Muslim Ahud has done. Because the moment you start doing that, they know this one understands Arabic, they will not speak Arabic because they never can tell whether you have a superior knowledge of the language. But you can win respect for yourself and your message if you take the pains to read this, particularly that dictionary of the Quran, because it covers virtually every chapter in the Quran. You read it by, I think it's by Ghulam Farid or something. You read it and you make sure you understand these things as explained there. And when you make your analysis, take them on a short journey or a short excursion into the linguistic terrains. They will appreciate it and they'll know you are communicating. Apart from that, the various qasa'id, the various poems of Hazrat Masih Maud, particularly about the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, we don't often use them. Because when you only say Hazrat Masih Maud believed indeed he respected the Prophet, but we don't often give them, because this is a tradition among them. You quote the Quran, you quote the Hadith, you have not quoted a single word of work of poetry. They don't often give value to that because it is our tradition here that after the Quran and the Sunnah comes the various scholars who have written poems about the Prophet or about Allah. And in the Al-Qasahid al-Ahmadiyya, very voluminous, the ones in Arabic, not to talk about hundreds of thousands that are written in Urdu and Persian, but the ones in Arabic, when you just take one or two lines and talk. I remember very well in 1995, during the AMSA convention at OAU, Ilefe, Professor Abdurrahman Oloyede, who supervised my PhD program, was a guest speaker. And he confessed that the program, what actually got him interested in Ahmadiyya was the lines of Ya Aina Faidillah, that Qasida. He said he had never seen a Qasida in praise of the Prophet Islam that is as standard as that. He said it was a public declaration at Oduduwa Hall. He announced, he said, you people should popularize this thing. Let people know that you have it. But when we have it and we do not use it, then you do not communicate with them. Because when you establish that you believe in Allah, you believe in the Prophet ﷺ, you have given them direct quotations from the writings of the Prophet. Now they start listening to you. Before you come to the controversial areas, they themselves will raise issues or questions about the controversial areas. Then you have an opportunity to explain. But you have established the initial trust. If you do not establish that trust from the outset, they will never believe in you. Or you then, one other thing I've heard some of them complaining about is that we condemn everything that is not in our tradition. Unless Allah has condemned something and the Prophet ﷺ has condemned it, when you see people doing it, it is we don't do it because it is not in our tradition. Lakum ada, lada adatun wa lighayrina adat. We have our traditions, others have their traditions. For example, the celebration of Maulid Nabi, we do Siratul Nabi, they do Maulid Nabi. So essentially the difference is in the name and what we do there. There are those who do it exactly the way we do it. Like there is a group in Ilaro, Sheikh Hassan Zaruk's group. They will invite 6 lecturers and you talk. And there was a time the Sheikh specifically invited me to come and discuss, at the Maulid Nabi, to come and discuss what is Ahmadiyya. He said they discovered that his people, I think the audiovisual department should have a recording because I went with them that year. He said he has heard people saying so many things about the Jama'at, and he has never had the opportunity of reading a single book written by Ahmadis. But he has heard so many things, and he discovers that what he hears conflicts with some of our programs he listens to on the radio. That these people believe in the Prophet. Okay, come and talk about your beliefs. And I spoke. After the whole thing, he said, even though I do not agree that Mr. Ghulam, he said, Sheikh Ghulam Ahmad radiyallahu anhu. I said, okay, that's an improvement. You're coming closer. He said radiyallahu anhu. Said nobody can contest the fact that this was a saint from Allah, that he would not want to agree with the issue of prophethood. No problem, but at least that's a positive disposition. Unlike the Salafis who will swear that they will kill you. But even then, there are some certain traditions. Okay, for example, during the hijab controversy, I have also discovered that is a personal message to every one of us. On the issue of purda, the Salafis will respect you. For example, if they discover that your wife is in purda, then they discover that, your wife uses niqab, she covers her face, Salafis will respect you. Because the understanding, the mindset is, you do not believe in the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. One of the leaders in Lagos, Sheikh Najmuddin Sulaiman, met me and my wife. And he said, Doctor, come. Is that your wife? I said, yes. He said, Astaghfirullah. I said, why Astaghfirullah? He said, Astaghfirullah. So you people do put the sunnah to this level. I said, you don't, if you hear what Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam said about hijab and the covering of a woman, you will run. He said, it is even deeper than what you people. And he said, but most of your people don't do it. I said, it's just that we don't force people to do it. We continue to encourage them until they do it. But in your own case, and I told him of somebody he knows, who I also know, whose wife will always come to Lasu with her face uncovered. When she's going, she will cover. And I said that is hypocrisy. I said that we want to prevent that hypocrisy. That's the reason. Even if it is only our scholars that are seen, with their wives in purda, it goes a long way in establishing respect. Among the Salafis, the Sufis and the other groups don't care about that. But the Salafis see that as when your beard, the dressing of your wife, as the measure of piety. Even if you know nothing, even if you misbehave in your private life, they don't care. So the first task is to connect with them. Connect with them, take time to read their books. Take time to read things they have said about themselves. There are times we fight them with what their scholars have written. Finally, it's like Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab in his most celebrated book, Kitab Tawheed, wrote it categorically that anybody, إن المرأة لا يستقيم له إسلامه. He said, إن المرأة, a human being, a person, لو وحد الله, if he believes Allah is one, وترك الشرك, and abstains from idolatry, لا يستقيم له إسلامه إلا بمحاربة المشركين. His Islam can never be okay until he wages war against the polytheists. So you can tell them this is the root of terrorism. Do you sincerely believe in this? In fact, the day I cited it to one of the leaders at LASU, he was shocked. He said he had read the book several times. He never read that statement because it is in the preface. People they just read the content, they don't read the preface. And for an Ahmadi, everything should be read. You never can tell where you will find the materials that will assist us. May Allah make us viable tools to deliver His message. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We thank Dr. Saab for the brief lecture. We will move to the next item. And as we move on, I think both the brief talk by the missionary in charge and then the ones by Dr. Saab, they are going to come out in our discussions. And I have some questions here, which which His Holiness actually posed, and I think we will be discussing them one after the other. But before we go into this, from what the missionary in charge, Saab, had said, and what Doctor had said, I want two people, one to comment each from one side. The people at the right side here, I want somebody to volunteer and comment on how we can achieve what the missionary in charge said. And then other person from this other side should comment on what...
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To start with, I'm not a missionary. All of you know that. Yes. So whatever, yeah, that's a promised language that we're all missionaries. But at any rate, I've moved with a lot of missionaries, and I've attended a lot of debates, and I've attended those days Tabligh activities. But what I want us to do, number one, is our own tarbiyah. When we are going outside to preach, then what is our formation of our teachings? For instance, when we're supposed to put on cap to identify a Muslim, and you go there with ordinary no cap, and you want to address people about our culture, Muhammad culture, Salam.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Though I'm asked to say something about the importance of putting on cap, but I want to add to that it is not only to put on cap, but it is believed that one will be addressed as such person dress. If you dress like cowboy, they are going to address you like cowboy. If you dress like Muslim, even though you are not a Muslim, they are going to call you Alaji or Alaja. I will recall one incident. It happened in Ilaro. I was going to the north when a real Alaja dressed like wayward woman. Then she stopped a taxi driver. The woman, because of the nature of the shoe that she put on, she could not run to the car. Then another one dressed well like a Muslim. By God, this happened at Ilaro. But she was not really a Muslim. Then the taxi driver opened the door for her. That Alaja, you come here, come and enter, leave that Oniranu. So, and the Alaja become Oniranu. And the one that his identity is not known become Alaja. Because the way that they dress.
Please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. Actually, it has always been the practice in those days, and it is very helpful. Short dars, or either from the Holy Quran, the Hadith, or Malfusa. There are times some non-Ahmadis usually come to pray in some of our mosques, simply because they know when you come there, you will not go empty-handed. You will gain something. And this actually is one of the way to dish out what we have. Maghrib and Isha, Fajr, although after Fajr, you know that that has already been established for Darul Quran, and maybe question and answer on Sundays.
System protocols too. I just want to ask a question. How do we encourage attendance at these dars between Maghrib and Isha, and actually also encouraging the elites among us to read the books of the Jama'at? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I believe there are more to it. It just give us broad map. One, you cannot engage any scholar if you don't have exact training he passed through. Like he said, by the time you go into some rudiment of Arabic analysis, they withdraw because they don't know the extent of your knowledge. I think the same thing applicable to us. Only few of us that have their training actually go to them. So my suggestion, sir, is this, that since we know that we need to engage the scholars, at least the target are two. It's either for their conversions or for them to have better understanding of the Jama'at, so that their enmity against the Jama'at will be minimal, to prepare soft grounds for our Tabligh. I think the authority should work on how to train more missionaries and members along the line of understanding what they know.
So, to start with, the issue of Tabligh and confronting the scholars of non-Ahmadis. Generally, I would say on the issue of Tabligh, there is a very salient point that the Promised Messiah had established, and today I would say we are not sticking to that very firmly. And that is, for the success of Tabligh, or for the success of anyone or anything, there are two very important points. One is prayer, and the second is proper planning. I would say in Nigeria, generally, we are known for the planning, the knowledge, everything at times to do such things is available. But one thing we forget is Ahmadiyya got to where it is today because of the prayers of some people. Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam never converted a lot of people only because he could speak eloquently, or only because he could talk and people would be wowed, but because he was very spiritual and he prayed fervently.
There's 11 things. To read from duties of missionaries according to rules and regulation of Tariq Jadid. Okay, maybe I will just read one of these. Yes, one of this is the role of a Mubalik, that is a missionary, is that of a leader who is to motivate, train, and involve the entire Jama'at in the field of Tabligh effort. For this purpose, he shall prepare a team of Dayan Ilallah who should assist him to spread the message of Islam and Ahmadiyyat in various regions. I think if this has been understood by all of us, we will not be working in isolations. It is observed, especially from Secretary Tabligh, that there is need for us to form a path and work together. It is only when we work together that we can achieve that result. We understand the Majlis Kudam is working. We understand the Majlis Ansarullah is working. We understand the Lajna is working. But there is no center for coordination of our activities. And if this is still missing, then we will still be chasing the shadows. I think this is why this is the purpose of this seminar. Jazakumullah khair.
Okay. Jazakumullah khaira. I will call on, we thank National Tabligh Secretary. Actually, when he said 11 things, I would have been very happy that he read those 11 things. If it is the Tabligh plan, but the one we are looking at is about the Mobile League, and not everybody is a Mobile League. I know it's about all of us, but it's materially by the Mobile League. And we have to work as a team. I agree with that. Please join me in silent prayers. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Amén.